next steps for handling growth in the county.
That's right, Don. Failing by just under 7% in Ada County, and now the Ada County Highway District Commission tells us the cutting of funds for upcoming years is only beginning. They've already cut $5 million worth of projects for fiscal year 19 and $15 million for fiscal year 20, all of which was going to be backstopped by that extra $7.5 million that would have been added to the Highway District's budget. And in a county home to two of the fastest growing cities in America, keeping up with growth on the roadways is critical.
Our major concern, of course, will always be maintenance, because you don't want to have the assets that you have deteriorate, because it just costs way more to fix them than to just maintain them.
Baker says the commission is disappointed with the decision, as that money would have gone to accelerate projects, particularly in the western part of the county, where there are only 2-lane roads, as well as adding sidewalks, safe routes to school, bike lanes, and ways to fight traffic congestion. Now, Baker says they'll be taking a closer look at the budget after maintenance costs are divided to decide which projects will be most important and most feasible. Now, being only one day out of the midterm election, the commission is unsure of future steps for creating those additional funds needed in order to comply with the increased traffic on Ada roads. Live in studio, McKenna King, 6 on your side.
Another failed measure of the election, the College of Western Idaho Plant Facilities Reserve Fund levy. Those funds would have gone to build a health science building on CWI's main Nampa campus. The measure needed 55% to pass. They came up 0.04% short, just needing 144 more votes to pass.
Nearly 55% of the people across the valley said, yes, we want to support what you're doing. We recognize the need, that we need more healthcare professionals, that we're not meeting the need, and we know that we're getting older and we need those services here.
The president of CWI says they will now take steps to evaluate how they will attempt to meet the needs of students, regional businesses, and industry partners while unable to secure those remaining funds to complete the building. The closest statewide race was for superintendent of public instruction. Once again, the Republicans came out on top by about 17,000 votes. Republican incumbent Sherry Ibarra will keep her job. That even though third-party donors spent about $400,000 to try and boost Democratic challenger Cindy Wilson.
Level, you do have to give some credit to Ibarra in the sense that she's obviously built up some political brand with the constituency. She's 4 for 4. She's won 2 contested primaries and 2 general elections. I think this also speaks a lot to the power of the Republican brand in Idaho.
Idaho is one of only 13 states where the public votes for the state superintendent. For the rest of the nation, the top state education job is appointed, and it's not necessarily a partisan position.
Ontario voters approved a measure that will allow recreational marijuana dispensaries within city limits with a 3% tax on cannabis sales. Now the question becomes, what happens to the hopeful owners who have been camping out, and how many dispensaries will pop up after the city put in buffers? 6 on your side, Steve Dent explains.
Every day I get at least 10 to 20 calls
from business owners looking to start a marijuana dispensary. And even before voters approved recreational sales, a line started to form.
We all think that it's just worth it.
In preparation, Ontario put in buffers.
Trying to protect the kids more than anything.
That restricts where dispensaries can be located after several public hearings.
Staff-wise, I put several options out there, different ones for them to choose from, and in results it was from the citizens saying they wanted this type of buffer.
Well, as you can see, this is the area in Ontario, because of the buffers, where dispensaries will not be allowed to operate. So how many dispensaries will there be in Ontario?
I roughly come up with around 15, possibly 10 to 15.
The camp also looks different this week because camping violates a city ordinance. So Dan Cummings has come up with a plan so these people won't have to wait out in the cold until January when the resolution becomes official.
I think everyone in line's probably ready for that at this point.
The plan will be unveiled to the city council on Thursday, and Hotbox Farms owner looks forward to seeing what the cannabis business can do for his hometown.
It's just really nice to be able to be a new industry and bring that industry to a city that needs the revenue.
Steve Dent, 6 on your side.
We've covered a lot of ground for yesterday's election.